I will.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Episode 37 of season 2 of the Manly Musings podcast. Tonight, we are recording on Sunday as an emergency podcast. Kevin and I have been talking since yesterday about the news at West Virginia. Not the greatest things. We will jump into that, but we also have our favorite Blue Dew Devil joining us tonight.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know that was
you
horrible.
Butchered
Blue?
that. Let me help you out.
You
Shout
do it.
out to our favorite Duke Blue Devil. You see him on the bottom corner of your screen if you're watching on our YouTube. Our guy, college basketball expert, Cyrus Johnson Jr. Happy Father's Day, sir. How we living?
Good. Thank you very much. I am living well. Just doing my thing. Hanging out with the kids, getting older. They really don't be bothered with dad anymore, so dad gets to do his own thing on Father's Day. So
there you go. And then can we shout out Cyrus out here with the grade A camera work with him balling at his basketball spot. I see you. I mean, You missed the layup in this video that I'm currently watching right now, but through the legs, twing twing. Oh, fillet. Oh yeah, yes sir, out here.
Hey, listen, I mean, it was a warm-up. That's what you do in warm-ups. You get all the misses in a warm-up. That way, when it's time for you to fully make that move, you can do it. You know what you did wrong.
That's true. That's
very true. That's how you do it, bro. All right. Let's see if I can make it through this episode without fumbling over my words all night. So this is going to be a quick one, guys. Usually our episodes, especially with Cyrus joining us, are typically like 2.5 hours long.
It's really not my fault, to be honest with you. It's really not my fault all the time.
It is always your fault. Definitely. Kevin, we can attest to that.
I mean, Cyrus, our episodes with you average at least an
2
hour
hours.
and 55 minutes. So we're out here. But today we have business to attend to.
Yes, you are correct. Yes, we do.
Yes.
All right, Merritt, shall we get this started? We got 2 things to talk about.
Yeah, so we'll start off with the interesting news from the NBA with the Bradley Beal trade to the Suns for Chris Paul.
Now, is it finalized or is it finalizing?
So we'll get to that.
They're finalizing. They're finalizing because
it is going to happen.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things that need to happen. They said it's going to take the next couple of days, right, Cyrus?
Yeah, because they need to finalize because the draft is coming up, and part of it is the draft picks and the swapping of draft picks. So when that happens, generally they have to wait until the day of the draft to figure out who's taking what player, if there is a player involved, or who's taking whatever picks.
Yeah.
Because say for instance, you know how people used to hide, Euro players, used to hide players and send, the European players and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This may be the same case. I'm going to get pick, let's say 50, if there is a 50, pick 50 and 55, knowing full well I'm not really taking anybody. I'm going to stash them someplace or in the G League or whatever. That's what it really boils down to. Who's taking what or what have you. That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and also the Washington Wizards are trying to find a third team to join in on the trade so that.
Well, they found it. They have to. That's where all this minutia is coming in.
Well, from what I heard is
Chris Paul's going to the Lakers. The Clippers.
I've heard Clippers are the number 1 team for the Chris Paul, which makes no sense to me because they aren't really. I don't think they're. You just throw an injury-prone point guard with a whole injury-prone team. So that's my thought on it, but I could be totally wrong. That's just my thought.
I think. To be honest with you, I think that deal to the Clippers is more or less a buyout for him.
Yeah.
And in the long term, for him to go play with LeBron. I'm just just spitballing it because at this point, you know, and I was listening to the NBA on Cyrus, and you know, Sam Mitchell and a couple other guys made the same case. They said, well, he can't play 82 games. So,
Cyrus, you sound so bad. You like literally just stopped talking.
he doesn't have to play those type of minutes and put that type of wear and tear on his body. Unfortunately, the only place everywhere else he goes, he's putting in more. He's going to have to play 30-something minutes a game and play 80, 60, 70, 80 games a game just to make sure the team, you know, clicks.
It's true. That is definitely true. Merritt, you want to just break down what the trade is for people that don't know what the trade is?
I will. I think I sent it over to. Yes, there it is. Hold on.
Mhm.
So, the trade for Bradley Beal. All right, is the Suns are expected to send Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, multiple second-round picks, and first-round and pick swaps to the Wizards. Sources tell ESPN. Phoenix has no available first-rounders to include in the trade. Beal's no trade limited the Wizards market for him. So with that clause that he signed last year in that massive extension, he was the only player in the NBA that had a no trade clause. So he has waived that to go to the Suns. Something more.
Did he waive it? Because I thought that he has to have. I thought that
he has to pick.
Yeah, he gets to pick, but the no trade clause supposed to apparently stay with him. He can pick to where he wants to go.
He waives like for right now. Like his contract is still going to be able to move over. He waives the no trade clause with the Wizards. That's what that means. Like he's waiving it so the Wizards can move him along. That's all.
But he still has the no trade in his contract, like when he's with the Suns.
I believe so.
Because if I remember because that's what they were saying on ESPN earlier, that his contract is the fact that his no trade clause stays with him no matter where he goes. So that's what made it hard for the Wizards to try and pick a place for him, because he technically picks the place where he wants to go. Yeah. And he pretty much has full control of where he's going. So he pretty much had Washington's hands tied, because the fact that they don't have any, they're only getting second round picks for him. I mean, and I think that's insane.
And Landry Shamet,
you know, if you think about it, right? They're you know, the reports are they're trying to tear down that whole team and start from scratch. Like literally start from scratch. Like they have maybe 2 or 3 guys under contract, probably some of the rookies that they have, and everybody else. I mean, if they could get rid of Kyle Kuzma and a couple of other guys, and they're talking about sending Porzingis to back to the Knicks, or
I don't want him.
I'll take him.
Nah, well, back to Knicks or another team. They're talking about Porzingis being gone. Who was the other? Kuzma, and they're talking about Kuzma.
I heard Kuzma looking for his money. I think Kuzma. I heard about I think it's the player option.
Yeah, he has a player option in his contract, so he'll probably opt out of it because he'll make more money off afterwards. But the one thing, what I found really funny about the Suns, right after that trade, you want to know how many people they have under contract for next season?
5
players: DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Cameron Payne. That is it.
They take up 163 million, correct?
Yes, 163 million in salary. It would surpass the luxury tax threshold without having a 5th player in the starting lineup, with just Ayton, Beal, Booker, and Durant steals. So they are going to be
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Ayton wind up getting traded before the trade deadline this year coming up. Just putting it out there. I don't think he'll stay.
I think he doesn't want to stay, and I think if what you're gonna have to do with that Ayton trade, you need to get more quality players to help fill out that bench. Because in my opinion, when you look at that Suns roster right now, it looks like the goal is to get to the playoffs and then to bet on that those 3-star players
Can
are
carry
going to
you.
push you to winning a 7-game series. Like I think they're trying to book that those 3 guys alone
Can do
are
it
going
all.
to that you can't beat them in a 7-game series. But I don't know. I just feel like
Look, so let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question, right?
Go ahead.
Just spitballing this out here, right? Do you think that those 3 guys, right, if you gave them a 7-game series, do you think those guys can each give you a game to win? Obviously, there's a game where the others are going to win, your bench players and stuff like that. But do you see a scenario where those 3 guys win you a game by themselves?
No. And I say that, and the only reason I say that is because Durant is getting older. He has not actually played a full season. We haven't seen him back to the level of play that we're used to with him.
Right.
Booker, I don't think is ever going to get past where he is. I think Booker's a phenomenal basketball player. Phenomenal.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to take another step. And also, you don't have a point guard on that damn team. I'm sorry. You have 3 guys that demand the ball in their hands to do something. How did that work in Brooklyn with Durant?
Yeah, I can tell you right now that they're going to run a point guardless offense where it's going to be
Booker's going to handle the ball. Yeah, Cyrus, you're going to have to say all that all over again because you are completely frozen on our screen.
Cyrus had a dead spot. Wherever.
Yeah. Nope. Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Nope.
Cyrus is like me. I love it.
It's hysterical. Ooh.
Nope.
He is going.
He's struggling. He just it's parked wherever he was. Oh, I forgot the U.S. men's soccer national team is playing tonight against Canada.
Oh,
we scored on a corner with a header. Let's go. All right.
Oh, Cyrus is frozen. But while we're waiting for Cyrus to reload, to answer his question as well, if I were ever to get a chance to answer the question,
there's going to be a lot of
there we go.
like that.
Hey, Cyrus, you are like literally neither Kevin nor I can hear anything you're saying. If you can hear me, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and answer
because there's gonna probably be a lot of ISO stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
Hello, Cyrus. Can you hear us?
Cyrus.
I'll be home in 1 second. Hold on.
Okay. We will just join us on your computer. Kevin and I'll keep talking. Just join us on your computer.
That's really weird.
It's all good. You're doing great.
All right.
Hello?
So
I'm going to answer Cyrus's question.
All right, Cyrus. We'll see you in a few minutes.
So I think Cyrus asked, do you think they have enough for them, each one of them, to win a game? They have a chance to win a game, but I fully believe that if you're in the West, you are going to need more help than just these 3 superstar mammoth of players. It's just been showed this year. Just by the way, look at the way the Nuggets won this year. They have, I would say, maybe 2 star players, a hell of a, young core, and they have people on the bench that carried them like that or did their roles when they need to. So if you break down let me break down the Nuggets. Pull Cyrus, go one by one. So think about, you got Jokic, your superstar in the middle. Jamal Murray, also a budding superstar to pair up with him. Aaron Gordon, highly touted draft pick who has been able to fill in his role ever since he got with the Nuggets. You got Michael Porter Jr., who is healthy, able to do what he needs to do as a top wing player for their team. Think about guys like Bruce Brown and is it Braun, right? Braun, the white guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The kid from Kansas.
Those 2 guys filling their roles as defensive role players to make sure if they need to help stop a star guard, Then you talk about a veteran in Jeff Green who played his part in doing what he needs to be a big body under the basket.
I would love Jeff Green back in a Celtics uniform next year. I won't lie.
I mean, hell, who knows? We'll see what happens. And then I mean, that was pretty much their rotation. Am I right? Did they play anybody else that I'm missing?
No, that's it.
It was
That's all
that
they
8.
played.
It was at 8. I mean, you had
I think
DeAndre Jordan on the bench and like Ish Smith and Reggie Jackson chilling on the bench.
Yeah,
But
I think Reggie jumped in, played a little bit, but nothing significant, which is weird because Reggie Jackson like is still a baller.
he's still, yeah. But think about like how much of a star, like think about that lineup there. They all played their part. And I don't think the Suns have enough unless they're able to draft really, really well with those second round draft picks or package them to get like a solid role player. I just don't know what their plans are going to do. Like, unless they're going to try to pull one of those, LeBron moves and try to get, older veterans that are going to be willing to go to Phoenix for the minimum. But like, we've already proven that role has that
Doesn't
type
work.
of play. It doesn't work anymore. People have figured it out. Like even LeBron's Lakers, they were only able to get better because they got younger guys that were able to play. So I don't know. The Suns are really going with their chips all in on this because they put all their eggs trying to get KD. And right now, in my opinion, maybe I'll bite this. It might bite me when I say this now, but it's looking like Brooklyn's like a winner of this trade right now.
Brooklyn
'Cause
won that trade.
And because they're with Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson just gonna get better as young guys. I don't know. I just feel like the Nets are gonna be much more on the up and up as opposed to the Suns. But it's what I got.
Yeah, I think honestly,
And the Red Sox just beat the Yankees 4-1. Just want to let all of the Red Sox fans know, aka
let's go. They have won 5 out of 6 games against the Yankees. Let's freaking go. All right, Cyrus is actually joining us via his computer, so we can actually hear everything that he says because can't hear shit. I didn't say join. Right. Cyrus. All right, whatever. We're gonna keep going. There he is.
Oh, the double.
Oh God, we're gonna mute one of them because this always happens. Maybe. Oh, wait, what's going on?
Merritt's on quiet mode. There it is.
Thank God. Are you able to talk now and so we can hear you?
Yeah, I'm able to talk now.
Thank Christ.
Yeah. So as I was saying,
yeah. As you were saying nothing because we literally heard 0.
no, so what we're talking about the Wizards and Porzingis, right? Because Kev said he didn't want to come back to the Knicks.
Well, you asked us the question of like who does this team, like these 3 players, do they win you a series? Basically, is what you were asking.
Yes.
You think they do? Do you? Kevin and I don't think they do.
I don't think they do because I don't think Bradley Beal has been in. He's never been in a series past the second round. So I think it'd be tough for him to understand what it is to have that type of game. You know what I'm saying? You to have think about it this way, to have a 30-point game with maybe significant points, not a 30-point game, just have a 30-point game. 30-point game significantly. Think about that. How we always talk about, somebody scoring 15 points a game, but it's insignificant at 15. It's a stat filler, right? I don't think that that he is, to me, the ultimate stat filler. I haven't seen him play meaningful games as of late. I haven't seen him. And that's the thing. If he was playing meaningful games, it'd be a different story. He's not playing meaningful games. That's the toughest part for me to understand.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think this team is going to go anywhere.
No. I mean, listen, I think they'll get to the conference finals, and I think that'll be it. Because they'll be good in it. they'll be good. They'll be good enough to get past a couple of teams that don't have enough to get over the hump. So, I think that's exactly what it is. I think that's just what it is at that point.
I don't even think they make it that far.
And that's a possibility too. But I think the furthest that they would go would be the conference finals. I think it wouldn't get anything close to the finals.
And that would be if all of them are all healthy and just the track record of these guys, they can't stay a full season.
No.
Even as good as Phoenix is, I know Phoenix has a big reputation for being one of the best medical teams that they provide over there and services. I just don't think they have they need more. They need more.
I agree.
And then Cyrus, like I mentioned, I don't want to repeat myself, but I mentioned look at the Nuggets this year. Look what they have. They had way more people than the Suns do. They played an 8 or 9 man roster, and they all played their roles. And that's what you're gonna need right now if you're gonna win. You have two, maybe 3 budding stars and guys that are gonna fill your role. And the Suns need to figure out how to fill the rest of them because I don't know where they're gonna get it, especially with how strapped they are for cash.
Yeah, they doomed. Which is fine by me because even though it would be fun to watch them play and do well, I don't see that happening. It's
right.
You don't have anyone on the team. But let's not continue down that rabbit hole. That is not why we are here tonight.
That is not why we are here.
Yeah, let's get to the meat of it.
We're here to discuss West Virginia men's basketball.
Yes.
At this point, when everyone hears this episode tomorrow, or throughout the next week, everyone knows what happened at West Virginia Saturday night. What occurred? Oh no, was it Saturday night or Friday night that he got
Friday night?
Friday night. Friday night.
Yesterday, the transactions, everything that occurred. Now we are in the middle of the fallout. So, Bob Huggins, he's been at West Virginia 17 years, 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
He was arrested Friday night for DUI in the city of Pittsburgh. Here's the problem with that. He also got pulled over. The reason he got pulled over is because he was driving on a flat tire. And the police had to tell him how to pull over. Completely inebriated. No idea. In my mind, I'm like, why are you doing this? You can have someone drive you. That's pretty easy to do. And then yesterday, Kevin, around 9 o'clock last night, 8 o'clock last night, we're texting back and forth.
8 o'clock. Well, we gotta make sure we go through the whole story now. So what happens? He's pulled over with a flat tire. Mm-hmm. They go to him.
Right.
And, this is coming from the police report. They see Coach Huggins driving. It's a university registered vehicle.
No, really? I didn't know that part.
It was a university, registered vehicle in which inside were a trash bag of 12 beer cans. And he was slurring his speech. And he blew a .215, which is astronomical for a breathalyzer.
I don't even know how he was standing. You can't even stand at that point.
That's a breathalyzer that you shouldn't. There's no reason for you to be behind a wheel. Not only was he going through Pittsburgh because that weekend all the coaches were sent out for recruiting. I believe on the report he was just visiting some family in Pittsburgh as a pit stop. And of course, there was a concert going on in Pittsburgh, so it was busy there.
Yeah, Taylor Swift was going on.
And that road is full of traffic. Can you imagine somebody driving in that condition with that much traffic being around? It's kind of terrifying to think about if something even worse were to happen. Luckily, he just had a flat tire, but they blew it. And then a lot of the reports started coming out Saturday morning that they weren't, coming through the grapevines. If it was true that he got pulled over under that, later confirmed over by the
It was
Pittsburgh police team.
confirmed pretty early on in the
Early Saturday it was confirmed.
Yeah, because I think on Twitter, the Twitter feed came up. I want to say it was like 7 or 8 in the morning, something like that. And it wasn't like yeah.
Yeah, like 9 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden I'm like, what the this isn't gonna go well the rest of the day.
Yeah, because I didn't normally you know I had to tell you like it's 11-hour feed or whatever happened is you see like it wasn't even 11 hour. It was like 2 maybe 3 hours at the most when I seen it. So
yeah.
Yep.
So continue the timeline, Kevin.
All right, so that timeline goes, it's already starting to get out, so people are obviously Twitter is blowing up around you're talking about in the afternoon. Then we get some notifications that there is talks with the AD Ren Baker and Gordon G. They put out a little thing on WVU Sports's Instagram and Twitter that we are investigating into the allegations to Bob Huggins and so to speak with him. He followed that up later on in the afternoon, where we come to find out that the team has met with Bob Huggins and go ahead.
So they did not meet with Bob Huggins until 9 o'clock last night.
Well, I meant it was Ren Baker and then they met with Huggins first.
Yeah, and the rumors that came out of that were you resign or you're fired. It's from the reports that I read.
Yeah, all of those reports were all pretty much the same.
Accurate,
Whether it was
so full transparency, right? Normally when that DUI happens or whatever it is that whatever miscellaneous thing happens, right? The reason that they give you the two options is the resigning is for you to keep your money for your contract. If you resign, you still keep X amount of dollars for your contract.
Yeah, 1 year's worth of money.
Right. So if you get fired, you get nothing.
Right. It also looks better for him. Right. So they have their meeting. Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
So they have their meeting, and then as Merritt mentioned, the team is called for a meeting at 8:30 in the evening at night, in which a lot of the reporters were saying, when there is a meeting like this, when it comes with the team, normally this is something in which protocol is something. This is what's to happen. They did not want the team to find out via social media first. They wanted it to find out from the inside first.
Right.
So 8:30, they have that meeting around 9 o'clock, and then we pretty much go to bed with reports that pretty much he's letting the team know that he's resigning. And then we got the report this morning that it was official that Coach Huggins resigned from his position at West Virginia, and they will be on a search for a brand new basketball head coach. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and it's rough because I know some people that were trying to keep me in the loop on a few things. No names, no nothing. I'm not going to do that. But all the information that we have just mentioned is spot on information from multiple sources that I've spoken with and kind of gone back and forth with just to confirm. And everyone around it is just somber. It's all kind of what's next, what's happening now. When I found out about this and they confirmed that he had the DUI and he's meeting with the team, the only reason in my mind I was like, they'll add to his suspension and fine him more money. Now that Kevin says he was in a university vehicle, that changes it a little bit in my mind.
Right.
If he's driving his own personal vehicle, a little different.
Yeah.
A little different, right?
Yeah.
But he's driving a West Virginia University men's basketball, most likely Escalade or Suburban, because that's what all the coaches drive.
Right.
Okay, that puts it over the edge. But let me ask this question to you guys. If Huggins didn't say what he said a month and a half, 2 months ago, what would he be fired or would he have resigned today or last night?
No.
No, because I think we would have been in the stage of, hey, you need to watch yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You shouldn't be doing this. What's going on? And
Right.
you need to go get help. I think it would be one of those type of conversations they would have with him, because I think it would be essentially probably very similar parameters where like he might get suspended some games and maybe have to do some of those like clinics on like drinking and driving, and make sure you're pushing that and talk about that in the university and take classes. But because of what he did a couple months ago, it was just, which was, we don't have to get into that again.
It was pushed over the top.
Hold on. Let me finish, Cyrus. Let me finish. Like the with what he did already, it's just the university has already been thrown under the rug enough.
Yeah.
Right.
With that, they got thrown under the rug enough with people saying that we should have canned him there, but we wanted to give him a chance. So with that, it's just with him doing this, it makes the university look even worse. And we cannot put the university in any more, you can't brush them around under the rug like that. It's already hard enough with what they're dealing with. The athletic department's dealing with a lot. And then now you're going to put the whole university through that. So it is a lot, lots of things to go on. And I'm still in like, wow, we've really come to this right now, to this moment. So,
yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Cyrus. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Because if you think about it, right? I mean, between the football team and a lot of other things that's been going on, the school, like you said, has put out a lot of pressure, and to have your superstar, all-star, whatever you want to call her, coach, go from the highest of mountains down to the lowest of lows, it's just tough to say. Yeah, we can keep him around to say it's okay. Like it's not. This is the last straw. You couldn't. I mean, think about it. Just like any job you go to, right? They give you a leash, right? They give you a leash to go on, to say, you do thing. If you keep doing these small things, eventually, I gotta let you go, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's where where it was at, because these small things were adding up, and now the big thing happened, right? First, it was the performance of the team. Now the thing that happened a couple months ago, and now this, right? It's just too much to have happen. And we all hope, I mean, listen, if anybody from West Virginia basketball or whoever it is ever listening to this or anything like that, I hope he gets the help he needs, because he seems like he's a nice enough human being that he needs the help,
Yeah.
The only other thing I would say is, like you said, Merritt, if it was his own vehicle, the reason that they probably couldn't say anything if it was his own vehicle is, who's to say he hadn't cleaned out the car in 2 weeks or whatever it is. He kept a junky car and he had beer cans in there, even though it may not, again, it could be wrong either way, but still,
no matter what, there should
You shouldn't be
car.
blowing
no.
that.
I'm not disagreeing with
in a
that. What
car.
I'm saying is, normally when people tell you that stuff, it could be cans of anything. Sometimes people just don't clean out the cars, and it shouldn't be in there, but sometimes that does happen. Think about it. You have a bunch of Coke cans and stuff like that. You're not throwing them out. They're in the back of your car. You're not thinking about it. You drive. Somebody says, "Damn, you need to clean out the car." Like it happens. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that unfortunately life happens when that happens, and just unfortunately, because it was in a university vehicle, that's what made it stand out as much as it did.
So now we're at the point. The dust is settled. Bob Huggins is most likely officially cleaned out his office. Everything's out. Now, remember, Huggins lives 10 minutes from the basketball arena. He's not leaving Morgantown. He's always gonna be there. What do we do next with a coaching? What do you do? Because you just brought in some of the best transfers in the transfer portal. from what what I've read, Huggins basically said, I have no idea what they're doing next to the kids. That's not good. And now you're in a search. I'm in the mood. I'm on team, take an interim that you have on the staff right now and do a full-blown search for the next 8 months throughout the basketball season. Do your search. Get to the March timeframe, February timeframe, announce your new hire. That's my thought, because you want to keep the kids that are here. They may have not just come for Huggins. They may have come because of the guy that we brought from Cincinnati last year, Kevin, over as the top assistant. Now,
DeMar Johnson.
You might have brought something. That's why. So why would we want to go ruffle feathers? And I will say this. If I see a goddamn person say that they want Beeline, I will flip the shit out. I don't want to go backwards.
Yeah, no, you don't want to.
He's 70 years old. He was here for 5 years before Huggins came here. He brought us to the tournament twice, and we didn't do shit.
I mean, Beeline was one of the ones to first get West Virginia any sort of notoriety. So
I don't care. I do not care. It's a rich rod.
Well, I get you. I know. It just understand, like,
West Virginia
big
needs
part
to
of
get
that
out
West
of
Virginia.
the Stone Ages.
Fellas, I don't think Beeline is in there. I think
he's happy retired. Also,
he's not retired. He coaches. He's in Detroit.
Yeah, but
he works.
I thought
he
was retired.
No, he's working. I pulled up an article for the Top Lake.
He's an assistant. He's an assistant with the Pistons.
Yeah, so he is.
I mean, yeah, he's retired from a head coaching job technically.
I just do an interim.
I think what is going to happen is I think they're going to do a full-blown search, and I think they're going to get the next head coach. What I think is going to happen is the same thing as the Deion Sanders thing. He's going to go in and make a change to the philosophy of how he wants things done. Not entirely, because again, you do have some decent players, some better players on the team that you can keep. But to the point where he's going to say, whoever this next guy is give me 3 years to get the guys and get where I need to be, and you'll see a change in direction. But again, that's the glass half full, right? Let's look at it realistically. Realistically, they're going to do exactly what Merritt says. You're going to have the interim for about 6 to 7 months, and he's going to probably get the new guy. Probably get the last. He'll probably be introduced before you get into March Madness, and then he'll take over after you lose in the first or second round or whatever it is. If you make it at all, right? So I think that's the way they're going to go realistically. What they should do is what I said, but again, glass half full. I don't think it's going to happen.
Cyrus, I will respectfully disagree with your thoughts on that, just because there is no one that I think that we could take right now in which he could do that. You would not take this job to go and blow it up like you said. You can't.
No,
you can't. Right. You cannot do that right with this team. This team is made out of three quarters of graduate transfers. They're here for 1 year. So the only reason why I say that you can't do that is because then you you are completely blowing it up with, you're in the middle of June, transfer portal is completely closed. You will decimate that team if you were to do that. You have to right now, in my opinion, the key is Merritt mentioned the players. The players is all about keeping them here. We have to keep them here.
No, and that's why I said to you, that's the glass half full look.
Yeah, but there's no way you can't. The Deion Sanders comparison does not qualify in this type of situation, because
no, I'm not saying, but I'm not saying that it has to. Right, and what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that it has to be Deion Sanders. I'm saying it has to, in order for you to get that type of coach, right? you would have to tell him that he had full carte blanche to do whatever it is. But realistically, the way to go is the way with the guys you're talking about now. You're going to have an interim guy in for at least 7 months to hold things down until you figure out who that next guy is. Because right now, think about it this way, fellas, right? You want to be in that conversation when they talk about the next team to go into that top 5 conference, when they talk about putting teams in the top 5 conference, right? You want to be that team, right? You want to be the top tier team. In order to get there, you got to do certain things. You got to get certain people. You got to get certain aspects. You got to get certain realities into your program. That's where the glass half full method, I'm saying, is at. If you're looking to start that early, because you have to break it down in order to build it up, right? But in this case where everything is taken care of and it's gone already, right? You can only do one thing. Give somebody an interim tag, probably DeMar, right? Probably give DeMar the interim tag.
No, there's 2 coaches that are ahead of him that have more experience.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really sure the other 2 coaches, but you just said DeMar, so I'm just assuming that he was. But whoever it is, you got to give him the interim tag, and you got to let him run for a couple months, because he has to. He's already going to have the same knowledge of what Bob Huggins wanted to do, offensive wise, defensive schemes, stuff like that. So you don't have to change anything other than a few tweaks here and there. Because as a coach, you don't want to change too much going into a season, because you've already had your offseason programming. That's why I'm saying, if they had said this happened a couple months ago and they were making the decision to let him go or him resign, then I would say they would start all over with somebody new, and then that way they can put their own stamp in it. But I agree with you. I think they're going to go with the way of what you guys are talking about, because they don't have a choice at this moment.
No, they don't. They have to have an interim. I want them to actually find a good coach. And I'm not saying Bob Huggins is not a good coach, because he's a Hall of Fame coach. Up until yesterday, he had the most active wins in the NCAA. And I think he's like, what, 7th or something on that list at this point, 5th or 6th.
He's in the top 10.
He's top 10 wins across all of coaches. But you have to pull in somebody that can just be there for now and puts the players first. Like, I think we have the right AD for it in Ren Baker, who is going to sit there and say, look, we don't want you guys to leave. This is our plan. Here's what we're doing. Stick with this. It's going to be a rough bout. It's going to be a rough patch. We all know it. It's not going to be pretty. Well, we weren't going to have him for the first 6 games of the season anyway. So
first 3 games, you mean?
First 3? It was only 3. I thought it was 6.
It was only 3.
Oh shit! I thought it was 6.
It was 3. It was 3. But then they were also talking about, because I think there was like some preseason games, something like that, and maybe him not doing the preseason games, something like that.
No, it's been 3 the whole time. They were going to beat up on Monmouth, another random school, and another random school.
Oh yeah, it was like
Huggins would be back before the Thanksgiving tournament.
Yeah, so there you go. That's here.
Honestly, if I'm WU, anyone that, let's be straightforward, if anyone is over the age of 50 as a head coach, I don't want to look at them. And that's not meaning that they're not good coaches. We're in a generation where we have to get younger. We can't keep having older style coaches in that seat.
So here's a question: Who would you like?
Hell if I know, it's not my job.
Right, but you're
if I pick somebody, I would 100% love to see the guy who's over at the Knicks right now, and Kevin knows exactly who I'm talking about when I say that.
But he don't have any coaching experience. Is a problem right now.
He has very, very little. But I would love to see someone like that, like a Deshaun Butler, a former player that has transitioned into coaching. Shit, I would take Juwan Staten because he has coaching experience at this point, but he's only at the high school level. He's coaching one of the best high schools in Ohio. So
I mean, go ahead, Mary. I'm sorry. You
I
first.
just want us to be younger. That's where things are going at this point. You're seeing the change of guard. If we had someone that's in his 30s, 40s years old that has coaching experience, I'll take it. We can't go backwards is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If we go
At this point,
backwards,
no.
and some of the names on this list that I saw before I've closed it out, I'm sorry, I don't want a D2 coach. I don't want it because it's D2 basketball to D1 basketball is a lot different.
Yes.
And we've already seen how that happens basically with our football program. No offense, Neil Brown. He wasn't a D2 coach, but he was a mid-major D1 coach and took over a major D1 program. We've seen what happens. Find someone that has some type of head coach experience, head assistant experience, and go from there.
Right.
Kevin, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I mean, I got many things to say. It's just a lot.
Yes.
Well, you guys just talk so much, so I just sit here and just listen. I mean,
Fine,
I think
I'll shut up.
right now, no, you're good. You're doing great.
My mouth
Cyrus.
is shut.
But, right now, I think the key is I'd like to give this assistant coaching group that worked their tails off to get this team together. I'd like to give them the chance. Most of them are only here for 1 year anyway. So let's strap them to the rocket and let them go. I'd like them to give it a chance to Josh Eilert, who has literally been with Coach Huggins from the minute he's went to West Virginia, starting from literally the bottom. But he started out as a grad assistant at Kansas State and literally climbed the coaching ladder with Coach Hugs to be assistant that he is right now. I think they have a chance to possibly, if they keep that group together, I think they have the chance to go ahead and keep the majority of the team. I don't know why. I have this strong feeling that we might lose one or two, but I don't know. For some reason in my heart, I think we can keep the majority of them together. But I don't know. Again, I don't know what these kids are.
You should be able to.
I don't know what these kids are thinking. These kids are different. These kids are different. They think differently. But the thing is, I'm trying to, Cyrus talks about thinking about the Hask level. Think about what we have. We have hella advantage on NIL. We got these kids because of our NIL, because of the deep pockets we have with the help of the Country Roads Trust. We have the resources. We have a probably top 5 in the line when it comes to basketball facilities. We are in one of the top conferences, maybe the best conference in America. But obviously subject to opinion. But we're in a hell of a great conference. We are in an area that can recruit all different types of areas. I'm literally reading through this ESPN article. Think about where we recruit. We can recruit all the way from up to New York and Philly, as down through the DMV area, and also go out into Ohio and the Midwest from our location. We can recruit all these areas, and we have talent that has gone there from each of those areas that has strived to be great, whether they've been in school for however long, into their careers outside of being with us. So I think it's really key to keep the assistants together. Let them, reap the benefits of all the hard work they did this past offseason and do the best they can with these NIL transfers, and then go crazy with the coaching search after. Because right now, let me read you these names. And Merritt, I'm sure you probably have read them already. We're looking at Andy Kennedy from UAB, Jared Calhoun from Youngstown State, a couple guys that were Coach Huggins' tree, along with Eric Martin, who was just recently left West Virginia to be his own head coach at South Carolina State. Then other coaches outside of the tree, you're talking Wake Forest's Steve Forbes or Mississippi State's Chris Jans. So I don't see anything that they can do to bring to West Virginia right now. Then you have guys that Ren Baker, our AD, has known. Main name that everyone's been talking about is Northwest Missouri State's Ben McCallum from Division II, which I am with Merritt. I think right now we are in no position to be trying to go after a Division II coach. And I also believe I know a lot of people talk John Beeline, a lot of the older West Virginia crowd, Merritt hates it. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not exactly a huge a fan of that move either. Reason being is, again, we have a fan base that wants us to win now. We need to get younger. We need to play along with what the strengths are of what's going on with NIL. We don't need an old school coach right now. We need to go ahead and get with the times. So I really think right now it's to see what these assistants can prove. Hell, maybe we take the interim if they perform hella good and can absolutely blow out the performance outside the water. But the key right now is the players. Do we keep the players? Can we keep them? That is going to be so huge in this journey and figuring out what the decision-making process is. Nobody in this Zoom room right now has the qualifications to figure out what to do. I really give credit to all the officials that are doing this right now because I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's got to be fast because if I read correctly, those guys, because of the coaching change, they have 30 days if they want to intend to transfer. So I would hope that it's not going to be a max exodus of players leaving, but it's time will tell. It is.
I think you may lose one or two players, but I don't think you're gonna lose everybody. Because one or two guys always, once the head coach leaves, you always have one or two guys that were the coach's guys, and he knows that they both know that their number is not going to get called when these other coaches are there, so they'll find a way to, go other places and do other things.
According to ESPN, so because of the coaching change, the roster has up to 30 days to enter the transfer portal, an extension of because of that happening. And the two guys that could leave without a waiver would be our center we got from Syracuse, Jesse Edwards, and Arizona's Kirk Risa. So depending on what those two guys do, that could seriously be a huge domino effect or of what can happen with this program. And then, yeah, like I look at our roster right now, and if any of them left, like the person I feel bad for is Jose Perez, who essentially left Manhattan for the same deal to try and get a better opportunity, and then the NCAA ruled that as an out. And a lot of these guys, so if you think, like Raekwon Battle, Trey Smith, Toussaint, they've already transferred already. So if a lot of those guys are trying to transfer again, they kind of can't because they're going to have to sit out another year. So looking at it as we've been talking half glass full, if you're really just trying to play, you might as well just stick together and play because a lot of those things, like you're gonna have to wait again. Can you imagine if I'm Jose Perez and I had to wait again if I went somewhere else? You might as well just do what you got to do and just play. And the only way they're probably going to play is if some of these guys on the staff are still there. Think about, someone like the guy who's been in charge of recruiting, Jay Kuntz, who's been a key part in all of these guys coming. Where you're going to just let this guy go and then all of a sudden now these guys go with him. It's tough. We are in a very sticky spot with everything.
Yep. Yeah, definitely are.
Especially timing of where we are. Our athletic director is literally, he got hired for a hell of a job because you're talking about a women's basketball coach who left right after March Madness, a position that was not planned on being filled, had to fill that. Now a controversial men's basketball head coach, and with Nauer resigning. And you also have a football program that is also on thin ice with a coach who Merritt wants to blow up and die inside.
I don't want him to die inside.
and we're gonna and
Want to be gone.
is that next? That's probably that could be another thing that he's gonna have to find on
We
his
are-
plate.
We are going to have to go through a lot. Probably end it here, mainly for the fact we can keep saying the exact same things over and over and over.
Wait,
we're
hold on.
just,
We might as well answer your questions. So, Merritt, do the transfers leave? Yes or no?
I think I agree with you guys. I think we'll see one or two of them leave, but where they're gonna go at this point, a lot of teams have already filled up roster spots.
Hey,
So
people will make room. If they're good,
that is
they
true.
will
That
make
is
room.
very, very true. I think what you'll see though is, the question is, are they going to leave? I think you're going to see the players, the former players that live in the Morgantown area, kind of step in and talk with these kids and walk them through. Like they none of them have ever been through a situation like this, but I think you'll have someone like KJ or Flowers come by and just talk with them and be like, look,
Right.
this is not what you guys signed up for. We wouldn't want to sign up for it either. But guess what? You're playing for not just the name on your jersey, on the back of the jersey, but the people in the stands, the on the front of that logo. Like, think of it that way. Play for Huggins. Go out and play for him this year. Yes. Is that what the university wants us to do? No. University doesn't want us to really say his name right now. But go out and play for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Just dedicate this season as a team. It does not have to be publicized or anything, but dedicate it as a team. So I do think we lose one or two of these guys. They bounce out, which is fine. It's going to be a rough season. It's not going to be a fun one, but it is what it is at this point.
Yes.
So
That's yeah.
So Kevin, get us out of here. It's 10:15. We all need to go to bed. We're all
As
old.
I said, knew was not going to be a half hour. We took it at a half hour. We took it more than that. So big shout outs to Cyrus Johnson Jr. for going ahead and joining us for the pod. Cyrus, you have any last thoughts where they can follow you or anything?
Well, just my Instagram, Cyrus Johnson Jr. Instagram. I believe my Twitter is at CKJ1408.
Shout out to that Twitter.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that's it. I just doing more. I'm trying to do a little more content. I'm off this week from work, so maybe I'll put some footage of me going to the gym, or maybe
I love
running
it.
again.
Wow, let's go.
Me and Merritt will definitely be excited because obviously we got to figure out our work out our plans to join you and ball it up with you as well for the We Out Here series. But go ahead, finishing out the outro for those that watching us on the YouTube for this emergency Sunday podcast. Thank you for watching. Maybe leave us a comment like Cyrus does on our page, the Manly Musings Podcast. We are on all streaming platforms. If you just really don't want to see our faces, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Play, and Google Play. You can join us and see what we're doing on our Instagram at the Manly Musings Pod. Follow Merritt's Instagram at Merritt_P. Definitely this weekend you want to follow him because my man is going on vacation. And then follow me at my Instagram at KQuava624. With Merritt gone, I need to go ahead and figure out some sort of episode. I have some ideas in mind, so just stay tuned for that. And other than
that means I'll probably be back on, but go ahead.
Good chance. We'll see.
Oh,
I just got to see what the creative juices are feeling. But other than that, thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us. You guys know myself and Merritt are huge West Virginia alum. We take a lot of pride in being a part of that university as students. Still love it to this day. And remember, we always just want the best for it. So, yeah, we'll stay tuned like everybody else. And you guys have a great night. Peace, y'all.